Hey Royals, this is Mademoiselle Mosley again. I hope everybody is doing fine tonight. Tonight I'm going to talk about Big. Yes, B-I-G. Have you guys ever watched that movie Big with Tom Hanks in it? When he went to an amusement park and he wished to be big and he became big. But when he became big and he was an adult sized person, he still had a childlike mind. So as he approached the adult sized world with a childlike mind, he made some really good partnerships within that. But he longed to be back small, which eventually in the movie you'll see all the transitions that he went through. But what I'm going to say about this part that I'm speaking about being big, sometimes we grow big, sometimes big in size of an adult, but our mind stays childlike. Sometimes we tend to allow people to make decisions for us that we should be making for ourselves because sometimes our parents and our brothers and our sisters still treat us like children we are when we are actually adults. They keep that child-like relationship which you eventually have to stand up for yourself if they are overpowering you with the age and the aspect of which you were born in, which that does not mean that they are mentally, physically, or spiritually mature than you. So you have to do what's best for you. Now, I ain't telling nobody to go against nobody. I ain't telling nobody to be for somebody. I'm just telling you, think about what's being said and what's being done. Just because you're young doesn't mean you have to be a follower. And just because they're older don't make them a good leader. So let's get with it. You will get bigger than your father figure or your brothers or your uncles that maybe once mistreated you. But what will you do with your rise of power? What will you do when you become that tower? Will you repay them for that fated day? Or will you raise to the occasion and don't let what happened to you be a negative persuasion? Because sometimes people really have mistreated us. And they think that just because they're older than us, that they will continue to mistreat us as adults or make us help us to make bad decisions because mom and daddy say you better do what I say. No, we ain't children no more. Unless they're telling you something positive and something good, but they don't know your feelings. They don't know your ways. They just know what they know. Because sometimes the older siblings don't try to get to know the younger siblings. They just think for them and think they know what's best for them. But you got to look at what your older sibling is about. If they're not living their own life right and they're leading you wrong, then that means you got to make the right decision for yourself. Okay? So like I said, you know, um, are you going to rise to the occasion and don't let what happened to you be a negative persuasion to become a monster like the monster who once dominated you? Or will you allow their devices to end with you? Sometimes mistreatment that we received, we cannot continue to occupy in that because if we do, we're going to pass it on to our children and to our children's children and so forth and so on. You have to allow your children and your grandchildren that's coming up behind you to understand the balance of life. If it's all going bad before you, you can't continue to let the bad go because people going to say that you think you better. No, you just want to live better. You just want to do better. You don't want to see your children or your children's children suffer unnecessarily. And if people going to get mad at you because you want better, then you might be better off without them. Big is not just body, but you also have to be big in mind because some decisions that you make may cost you a lot of time. I hope that helped y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, get it before it gets you. I'm out.